Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the program where we talk about looking for a job, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. Happy New Year to everybody. And as we do every Wednesday evening, we'd like to welcome in a few minutes Rich Levinsky from East 57th Street Partners, where he's going to talk to us about consultants in the workplace and some of the things that are going on in the new year there. Meanwhile, what I wanted to talk about this evening, especially in this session, was something I read recently that will guide us in the new year, something that's overlooked, even myself, when it's been reinforced for years, something I read recently, a recent survey on gratitude. And I want to devote this part of the session on gratitude and a study that I saw, that I read that had to do with gratitude. They took a group of psychologists, took a group of 300 people and followed them over a period of time. They divided them into three groups. One group of people wrote themes of gratitude on a daily basis. Another group of people thought about themes of gratitude on a daily basis or a weekly basis, not a daily basis. And another group of people didn't do anything about gratitude at all. And at the end of a period of time, about a year, they studied the attitude towards each part of each group of people and compared them. And they found four things that were really important, especially about the people that wrote about gratitude every day. The first thing they found out was that gratitude unshackles us from toxic emotions. The people that wrote about gratitude every day were just happier. They just were more pleased with what was going on, the same problems. They had the same group of problems and the same kinds of problems that everybody else had too, but they were less likely to be upset by the problems that they had. They weren't mad. They accepted the problems a lot easier. Some of them were even more grateful for the problems, figuring that if without problems, they wouldn't have opportunities to grow, which is really true. They wouldn't have them. They wouldn't have the opportunities to solve the problems, and they realize that the only people that don't have problems are dead, and that they didn't have toxic emotions about the problems, and they were much more likely to address the problems with positive attitudes. The people that wrote about gratitude every day were more likely to find that gratitude helped them even if they didn't share it. They didn't have to necessarily tell everybody how grateful they were. It was just to themselves they were preaching, so to speak, that they didn't deal with it every day and tell everybody, hey, I'm grateful. They just were, they didn't share it necessarily, didn't necessarily run around saying how grateful they were. In fact, many of them didn't even let everybody know what they were doing. But that still affected them, and they still became very grateful, and it helped them deal with what they had to deal with better because they did it for themselves. The third thing was that gratitude benefits take time. That's one thing. It's like meditation. It takes a long time to do. The benefits didn't necessarily happen overnight. It took a much longer period of time for gratitude to benefit people. They found that they still had lots of setbacks, and it still had difficult emotions and difficult times, and that they had to remind themselves to be grateful. And that, but that over a period of time, the impact of gratitude made a difference, made a big difference in their life, but it took a while to do it. And the last thing was that gratitude had a lasting effect on the brain. They did MRI scans of the brain of the people that were grateful every day and found that those people had a much a more positive attitude, and the pleasure part of their brain was more effective more than others. And that you really have to read the study. It's really an interesting study that they had better brain power in the attitude of positiveness than the other people did, and it was all because they had been working with gratitude for a long period of time. This thing went on for almost a year, and that they were more grateful, and that their attitude towards everything was just more positive. Some of them have had some traumatic experiences. It allowed them to deal with those traumatic experiences a lot better and a lot more easily. Gratitude is really easy to overlook if we're not reminded of it. Prayer leads us towards a lot of gratitude. And so just start the year out with lots of gratitude and think about it when you go along your every day. I have a little sign on my computer that says, I'm grateful. And I have to be reminded every day of I'm grateful, because sometimes it gets to me where I'm not so happy and that things aren't going so well. And I've got to be grateful for even the things that aren't very difficult, that are very difficult, and that on the surface don't seem to be the most grateful things. Okay, we're going to take a short break. This is Tony Bashero with the Job Search Solution.